Hi, I'm John Hood. I'm the author of a series of historical fantasy novels called The Folklore Cycle. The first book, Mountain Folk, came out last year. The second book in the series is called Forest Folk, and it's about to be published. This is the sixth in a series of videos we've prepared to give you an advance look at the world of forest folk. Just as much of the action of the first book took place in or around mountains, you won't be surprised to find out that forests and trees play a big role in my second book, both as settings and as symbols. I'm speaking to you from one of those settings right now, the woods of Guilford College in Greensboro, North Carolina. The college was founded in 1837 by the Religious Society of Friends, often called the Quakers. Behind me is a 300-year-old tulip poplar that has become popularly known as the Underground Railroad tree. Folks have long come to this place to venerate the tree as a symbol of the 19th century network of safe houses and secret routes that helped enslaved African Americans escape to freedom. One of those stops on the Underground Railroad had its origins right here. Levi Coffin was born in Guilford County in 1798. His parents were devout Quakers who strongly opposed slavery. As a teenager, Levi began helping his family feed and shelter escaped slaves. As an adult, Levi moved to Indiana and then to Ohio, working in the Underground Railroad until the outbreak of the Civil War. A young Levi Coffin makes an appearance in my novel Forest Folk. In the story, he's waiting here in what were then called the New Garden Woods to meet a man named Stephen, who had been kidnapped in Baltimore, smuggled into Virginia, and then sold into slavery. This chapter is based on a true story. According to Levi Coffin, however, there was a third man present, an older African American man who helped bring Stephen into the woods. In my version of the tale, that man is named Tom. It's important not to think of the Underground Railroad as a single, unified endeavor, nor was it created and operated solely, or even mainly, by white abolitionists such as the Coffin family. Black Americans, enslaved and free, made up the majority of the engineers working on the railroad. The character Tom, who brings Stephen into these woods, is just a representation of the many men and women who braved great dangers to liberate others. And because Forest Folk is a fantasy novel, it's not a history textbook, I suppose I should tell you that Tom is not quite what he appears to be. I drew on African American tales to create this character, known variously in folklore as John the Conqueror or King John the Conqueror. Legend has it that John was born in Africa, perhaps of royal lineage, and then abducted by slavers who first brought him to the West Indies and then to North America. There are many stories and traditions associated with John the Conqueror, including 3 plants with mystical properties. The first is called High John. High John is a root used in mojo bags and aphrodisiacs. The second plant, Low John, is the magical root of a trillium flower. And finally, Chewing John is a bulbous root related to ginger. It's used both to soothe an upset stomach and to produce a favorable ruling should you have to go to court. There are nods to all 3 plants in Forest Folk, particularly when John the Conqueror visits another main character I haven't mentioned yet, Isabella Baumfree. Isabella was born into slavery in New York's Hudson River Valley. Her last name, Baumfree, is Dutch and may mean something like free tree. That forms yet another symbolic link to the title of the novel. You probably know Isabella better by the name she later adopted as an abolitionist and missionary, Sojourner Truth. In future videos, I'll give you even more glimpses into the world of Forest Folk. You can always go learn more for yourself by visiting the website for the book, that's forestfolkbook.com. While there, you can learn how to order the book as a print edition, as an ebook, or as an audiobook. See you soon!